Hi guys, Jasmo here, and today I'm gonna talk about the Ultimatum League Start, which was perhaps one of the best and at the same one of the worst League Start experiences I've ever had. This was full of crazy DCs, ridiculous performance, but also interesting things happening. I'm gonna go over the League Start DC and performance. I'm gonna go over my build and the strategy for this league, how I started. It has been very successful, so I'm gonna share that with you guys. I'm gonna talk about how I made my currency and how you can make currency as well, some potential money strats for you guys, and then I'm going to talk also about the league mechanic, which is kind of like the good stuff about the league and also the bad stuff about the league, which is like the performance of it. And then elephant in the room, the map sustain. I'm going to try to help you guys with the map sustain because that has been very difficult for many people this league. So first of all, let's start with the league start, which was just riddled with DCs. There were some errors in the servers and POE messed up just by something with their code. I don't know what it was, like Chris wrote something about it. Basically everybody was crashing constantly for hours and hours. They paid some streamers to like promote the game and the streamers couldn't play, so they had to like let the streamers in first, and drama ensued, and it was like just craziness and complete clown fiesta of a league launch. Everybody was delayed massively. However, despite all of those delays, even though I kept disconnecting just like everyone else, apparently I was disconnecting less because I was rank 1 necromancer throughout the progression until the maps. That was very unexpected. I was like rank 7, I think, at some point as a witch, and rank 29 overall out of all players in this league at the beginning, at around like level 60 or something like that, when we were getting slowly into the maps, slowly because everybody was disconnecting. I had to do my merciless lab like 4 times. It was just absolutely crazy. Everybody was disconnecting over and over, and so basically this league is right now on an economy that is very delayed. That's one of the reasons why it's delayed. Another reason why it's delayed is the map drops, which I'm gonna talk about in a moment. So the build that got me to level so quickly, so that I was like at the top of people who were pushing the levels in the early game as a necromancer as well, was the leveling guide that I have on YouTube as well. That's that exact leveling strategy. Going toward the soul rest build is what got me there. I'm not gonna talk about my build too much in the video because the build is extremely complicated and there are so many different things. It's like whenever you play, whenever you do bosses, you have to like take out the gem and summon some phantasms, and then you have like 2 different weapons and 14 hotkeys, crazy stuff that is like way over the head of most players that will be watching this video, and I need to make like a specific video about this build. This is not your regular soul rest summoner. This is a bit of a like a high-tech but also low-budget version of it, which performed extremely well. I'm super happy with the league starter. It is like the perfect build. I couldn't have picked a better build for this because I didn't have to 6-link anything. It was so comfy. It destroyed all content that I was doing, including things like Uber Elder, for example, which on I guess day 2, day 3, I was doing like Shaper, Elder, Uber Elder, and the invitations for all the Guardians. So it's made some good currency. My strategy was to basically push the Atlas while I am... So let me start from the beginning. My strategy was first level very quickly, get to like level 59. From level 59 I was buying heist contracts, and there's like a specific strategy where I should probably make a video about it, like how to make a lot of chaos early on when you're starting, but basically use heist to get yourself a lot of amulets and rings and belts so that you can do your chaos recipe quicker, and then basically you get the essential items that you need. So for me that was the soul rest, the triad grip with 4 green. I also had to do like delve. Then there was the Victorious Influence, the Juju, the Darkness Enthroned, a bunch of jewels that I have on my gear, like tons of jewels and some cluster jewels. So I had to get a lot of stuff. I had tons of searches pre-prepared, and I had this exact build planned, knowing exactly every single piece of gear that I will have to get, every single jewel that I will have to get, every single gem that I will have to get. I knew all of that ahead of time, so I could prepare that. That was my strategy, and I managed to assemble this build together while I was still like entering the white maps. While I was in the white maps, I had already all of that stuff, like the soul rest, the Victorious Influence, everything. And so I was able to progress fairly well because I was able to juice my maps, right? So a lot of people have had issues with the map sustain. However, despite that, like I had to go to like really extreme measures, right? For example, when I was like in T12s, I remember I made like a map where I put of course, like quality it up, right, to 20 quality, alk to like a decent quantity as well. I think I put like cartography scarab, then I put I think like a Harby scarab, and then or like elder scarab, and then like a fragment, like a Tsiri fragment. And then I also had like I was stacked with prophecies. I had like all of the prophecies packed in here, so I was like full prophecies of prophecies to proc. I also had like bonus packs from Conqueror, and I also used from the map device. I think I used bloodlines, and then on top of that, I also made sure to put like a delirium orb on that, so that was also 20% delirious map, right? All of that, I cleared the map completely. In that 20% juice delirium map, I also did the ultimatum and I completed it. I did all of the stages and finished it. I dropped 0 maps. Not a single map, not even a white map. It was a T12, not a single map. So the map drops are extremely low this league. And I personally like it, okay? I personally like it. Don't hate on me too much, okay, guys? But I personally like it when this is like a consideration that you actually need to do something. Because if I can, and I wasn't like the first person to progress through the maps, right? There were people who were faster than me. There were people who were ahead of me. But still, on day 2, I was able to do Shaper, right? On day 2, I was able to like do Shaper and Elder. As soon as people had like Shaper and Elder Guardian maps, I was like about like between like T12 and T14 maps, somewhere in there. So I just got the Guardian maps, and then instead of like I had like maybe 1 or 2 T14s, but instead of doing those, I decided it is much better for me to buy these maps, to buy just Guardian maps for Elder and for Shaper. And because if I had to buy a map, right, the maps were for like 50-60 C, by the way, so nobody would in their right mind would buy that, right? Of course, right? But take a look at this, right? If I buy a map like this for 50 C, okay, now it's probably a little bit less. If I buy it for 50 C, the fragment itself will be like 40 C at that time, okay? I will find like a base or two that will sell for like 20 to 30 C as well. I will find some chaos. I will find another map that will be like 15 C, and that will be like between T14 and T16 as well. So that will be another like 15 chaos. So I'm already like, I'm already like ahead, right? I'm already in the positive in terms of the currency, but that's not all. I'm gonna also have like an Elder fragment, right? Like an Uber Elder fragment from that, which is like another X at that time. So it's an X profit basically of doing that, just or like a quarter of an X profit every single time you do that. So it was like a no-brainer to do that, because I could just forget about the Atlas, forget about like grinding the Watchstones. I just got to this level, like Awakener level 5, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do the Guardian maps, and I built all of this map pool just by doing Guardian maps, and now I can just go into the maps, and I have so many maps that I will not run out of them, because I will find stuff, I will find currency that I will be able to juice with, right? I have currency now, I have tons of stuff for sale still, right? So I will get more currency, I will get all of the juice I need, I will get whatever Scarabs and Sextants I want, and I will juice them up so that they will actually drop for me. So now I will sustain without an issue. And also I could take advantage of the fact that these bosses, that Shaper and Elder, early on they drop stuff that is more expensive. So early on it's better to do that, because later on the Atlas stuff is gonna be just as good. But the Shaper and Elder stuff is gonna go down in price. So that's why this was like the strategy. And I think this is going to be the meta. And I'll probably make a separate video about that as well, like how to start the league properly, because the days of starting the league with like a fast mapper are kind of over. I don't think you should do that anymore. I think you should honestly just start with a boss killer. With a boss killer that can also map, you know, you don't want to play a shitty build. You want to play a build that can kill bosses but also run through maps pretty quickly, right? But like, you don't necessarily need to be the quickest through the maps. you just need to be able to kill the bosses, because as soon as you can like unlock some of the uncharted realms and get like the Guardian's Aid and Remnants of the Past, you get so many fragments, you get so many Shaper and Elder fights, which means you can sell gear. Like I had so many things that I've sold. I sold the Volcanus, right? That the 4x dagger. I sold Starforge. I still have my Void Forge to sell. I have like a Watcher's Eye to sell. I sold Indigon. I sold the Shaper's Mark. Tons of stuff. And like Indigon, I sold for like 3 or 4x. The Starforged I sold for, what was it at that point? Like a 5x, 6x, something like that. Then I also sold the shield. I found the anticipation in a breach. I bought the blessing, upgraded and sold it for 7x as well. So I sold a lot of stuff and then reinvested it into Guardian maps and progressed that, and now I got other stuff to sell. So I have tons of currency. I was able to very easily, like even before doing all of that, I got myself second soul rest. So in order to have like single target setup and clear setup with like 3 different gem swaps, on just one button press with like hotkey switching and everything. So my league start was really good. This league went very well. I'm set up properly to do everything I want. But what do you do? Okay, what do you do if you cannot do that, right? Because obviously you cannot go back in time and reroll a boss killer. So what can you do? There are many potential league starts. I'm gonna highlight one that I think is pretty profitable right now, and as soon as I'm gonna talk about it, it's probably gonna become less profitable, but that's just the nature of it. I guess people who are watching the video are gonna have some benefit of it. So let me log in actually on another character, because on this one I have not done the Maven fights in that region yet, just so that I can show you the passives that I'm gonna talk about. And I'm talking about Breach. So breaches are very expensive right now, because you can upgrade the breaches. The more breaches you do, the more you can upgrade them, and you can just like run like pure breach stones. So the region I'm talking about is Lex Proxima. You want to run something in Lex Proxima, and let me make sure that I put some watchstones in here so that we can have a full view of the maps that are available in this region. So there are maps such as a Glacier, which is a very nice open map, a Park, which is probably my candidate for that, because you want a map that is very open in layout, right? You want an open layout that will allow the breaches to spread fully, and then you can use that open layout to also at the same time do the league mechanic. The league mechanic, the ultimatums, require a lot of open space, because that allows you to just run around and nuke everything that's inside and don't care about like taking damage, because you're just running around and ignoring everything pretty much. So you want an open space where you can run around this. So Park is like one of the perfect maps for that. And then you want to pick the breach passives so that you can have more options to get like the breach stones from that, and that's gonna be massive amount of currency right now, because breach stones are very expensive. Everybody and their mother is playing Elementalist, and they're using like, for example, Zolf's Nurture, the bow, for the Burning Arrow build. So everybody wants that, and this is something that you acquire from these. So this is definitely what I would run. And then also you do the Zana map device for the breach, right? So this is something that I would definitely recommend as one of the strats. Another strat that's potentially really good is like doing rituals. Like rituals in Hayward Hamlet are going to be probably very good, because you can juice them even more, so that kind of pushes them past the point where they actually become really good. Lex Ajoris farming cluster jewels is still very strong. This is still a very powerful region, even though people think these 2 nodes got nerfed, but they're actually not the most important nodes. The most important are the small ones in here for more chances to drop cluster jewels. There are tons of different strategies. You can still farm the Legion here, and you can do like Abyss Scarabs and farm these Abysses as well, because you will get like Abysses in areas spawn 100% increased monsters, so you will have like double monsters, and you can potentially do like a Sextant with Abyss Scarabs, and then grab an extra Abyss from this thing. I don't know if there's like an Abyss on map device as well. So there's crazy stuff you can do in this league, and there are going to be still tons of strategies. The builds that I would recommend for for doing the league mechanic, because people are asking. I think like the most juicy build for that would be probably Penance Brand. Like Penance Brand with Headhunter is probably what I would be going for. Just converting all of the damage, because you'll be able to take advantage of like cast speed and physical damage and elemental damage. I am personally probably going to be going for EK Raider, or maybe Power Siphon Raider, something like that. Maybe also Val Arc, something with Val Arc, but you want something that is very elusive. You want something that doesn't get hit very often, just can just avoid the damage, and ideally also CI, because a bunch of the things from the ultimatums are like chaos damage, so you can go CI and just ignore them if you're not too mobile. But that's basically it. In terms of the map sustain, if you're really struggling, because I need to give you guys some tips, because everybody complains how difficult it is to sustain maps, and for the first time I have to actually agree, yes, it is difficult to sustain maps. So what do you do? Okay, what do you do? Be creative in looking for deals for Scarabs. That's my number one tip. Okay, Scarabs, it doesn't really matter which Scarabs you use, as long as you understand the principle, right? Adding more monsters to your maps is gonna give you more maps, right? Adding more monsters means more quantity. So you want to make sure that you're getting Scarabs like Harbinger, for example. At the very beginning, I was buying like polished Harbinger Scarabs, because nobody was buying them, because nobody thought that they would like, oh no, that's gonna be too expensive, nobody's gonna have those. And you could actually buy a bunch of those for about the same price as the regular Harbinger Scarabs, and I was running them in Valdo's Rest, and I was getting a bunch of maps from that. You can also run the Elder Scarabs, you can also run the Legion Scarabs, the Abyss Scarabs, you can run Metamorph Scarabs, even Shaper Scarabs. Like any Scarab is better than no Scarab. You can also run the fragments as well, so tons of stuff. Make sure that you are buying chisels and you're buying sextants. If you don't have any, I would use sextants as soon as you have a watchstone. Like as soon as you have a single watchstone that you can put in your atlas, and you're gonna run this region, put a sextant on it. Just get a single simple sextant and put it on. Make sure that you're rolling something that's gonna give you extra monsters, so like areas contain an additional abyss, that's great. Pack size, that's great. Extra packs of monsters, this is what you want. All of these sextants are giving me extra monsters, and that's what you want. You want to put as many monsters as you can into your map. You can also use cartography Scarabs. It is worth spending currency, because you're gonna make more currency if you are in the higher tiers of maps than in the lower tiers of maps. So it is worth doing that, because your gains are gonna be increased later on, so you're gonna make up that difference, and later on that little currency that you spend doesn't matter, unless you need to invest it in your build so that you can even do that content. But that's why you should be playing a good starter build, right? So I think that's gonna be it. Next video I'm probably gonna go over the build. It's gonna be like a build guide, but it's gonna be pretty advanced, because this build is way more complicated than people think. There are soul rest builds that are very simple, where you just press hold cyclone and you just kill everything, and that's cool, and you can play it that way. I don't play it that way. This is a way different version, but it is capable of doing much more damage, be faster, and be safer and tankier. So I think this is like a much more much more effective build, much better build. However, it is way harder to navigate and play and gear up, but that's gonna be in the next video. Thank you guys for watching again. Check out my stream when I go to sleep and then finally wake up. I'm gonna be probably streaming on Twitch TV/Asmodeus stream. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to all the Patreons for the support. Holy shit, guys, so many people got my loot filter, so I'm trying to update it every single time I make a change to that. So thank you again for all the support so much. See you next time.